Hi guys, I thought with this being quite literally the eve of the World Cup, I'd bring you a little talk about something extremely passionate about. And not just football, but the World Cup itself. The World Cup is singly the most brilliant spectacle in the world that sport can bring us. And I personally have attended two Euros tournaments and one World Cup, and the joy it brings and the amount of people it brings together is like nothing you'll ever experience. The reason I'm not attending this World Cup is due to the factor of where it's being held and human rights problems and ethical rights in Qatar. I'm very torn when thinking about this tournament, as the World Cup is, well, without a doubt, my single most favourite month of every single 4 years. I'm hoping that the fans, players, and countries can shed a little bit of light on the situation arising there, and they can all play their part in bringing further equality through their strong voices whilst out there. Without delving too deep into that, and to keep this as brief as possible, we'll head straight into the predictions. But beforehand, I just want to plug my own channel over on Twitch. You can find me at Lukalele, where I play a varied amount of different games and with my amazing community over there. And during this tournament, I'm going to be hosting a few games as watch-alongs on stream. So if you do want to come watch along with someone to talk to, that's where you can find us. Anyway, let's head straight in to the groups themselves and pick our eventual winners. So we have a little tournament tree here, and we're going to be starting from Group A all the way down to Group H, as you can see. We'll just go through and talk a little bit about each team, and maybe about a few of their players, what I personally think will happen during this tournament. We're going to keep it as brief as possible. But yeah, if you have any varied opinions, anything you don't agree with, etc., do leave it down in the comments. It's always good to get other people's views and opinions. Right, we'll start firstly with the holders, Qatar. They're pretty unknown. They've been training together for months, not been playing games in their leagues. They've had their league called off for a long time, just so their international squad can train together. And yeah, they've been building up towards this tournament for 8-10 years since it's been announced. So they're very much unknown, which doesn't really help when predicting where they're going to come. Second team in this group, Ecuador, who they'll be playing first. Really, there's not too much to know about Ecuador. They've got good players like Enner Valencia, who's their captain. They've got players from Brighton like Saicedo, who's a very good defensive midfielder. They've absolutely hammered teams like Colombia in the qualifying. I reckon they're going to concede a lot of goals this tournament, but I also reckon they can score a lot of goals. They've actually scored the most set piece goals in their qualification as well. Next team is Senegal. I think they're going to struggle a bit without Mane, although they do have a lot of other players who are very good, like Edward Mendy in goal, Koulibaly in defence. They've got some very tricky forwards, like Ismail Sarr in the starting attacking lineup as well. But yeah, I think they're going to struggle without Mane after that injury, and they could do well still. They would have been my favourites for all the African teams to go as far as possible, and they do have a coach they've had in for quite a while now, so that could stand them in good stead. Last team in this group is Netherlands, who have Louis van Gaal still. Crazily, he just keeps on going somehow. He's about 70 years old, and yet he's still going strong, or as strong as can be. They're ridiculously fun to watch, as I'm sure you're all aware. Just a bundle of joy. They've got one of my favourite players to watch called Denzel Dumfries. He plays as a fullback, ends up in the box as a number 9 at times. You don't really need to touch on their team too much. We all know the talent they have: Van Dijk, De Ligt, Frankie De Jong, etc. And everyone's favourite, of course, Martin de Roon. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should. He's hilarious. I expect them to go out and just cause chaos, really. They're going to be strong. I reckon they might top the group. But yeah, they're just going to be a lot of fun to watch some of their games. So we're going to quickly predict this group. I think the Netherlands are going to top this group. I think Senegal might nick second ahead of Ecuador, and Qatar are just such an unknown, and they really don't have a very strong squad, so we're going to stick them in fourth there. Let's head straight on over to Group B. All right, this is the group where the only group that has 4 teams in top 20 rankings of FIFA. So really, statistically, this is the strongest group. As much as I don't think it is, it's going to be very tight and it's going to be hard to call. But I'm personally obviously not attending this tournament, as I said at the start. And I think if I'm going to miss an England tournament, maybe this is the one. I don't think they're going to do very well like we have in the previous two. There's very much vibes around the camp of pre-Southgate, which wasn't a good time if you asked anyone who watched England at that point. England have been covered a lot on a lot of places, so I'm not going to delve too deep. If you want to talk more about the squad, what I think, etc., we could delve into that a lot in the watch-alongs over on Twitch. Iran, funnily, I actually think are my dark horses for this group. They don't concede many. They're very solid, very wily, and I think they might pull off a lot of 1-0s, a lot of 1-alls, a lot of 0-0s, and I think they might just scrape their way through to qualification here, which I don't think many people will agree with me about. Moving on, USA, they've got a great talent pool of players. They really have. And I think within the next 4-8 years, they could really push on with this squad. But right now, with their current coach and how unliked he is in this setup, I don't really fancy them. They're a bit inexperienced. Yeah, the coach just isn't getting them playing the best football they can, even with their great players. I'm very happy that Tim Ream and Anthony Robertson are there representing Fulham, though. When the last team in the group, Wales. Without sounding horrible, I think they're very much passion merchants. They're great on a day. Rob Page has them really organised and playing good football. But I think they're going to have to heavily rely on Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey again. I think players like Harry Wilson, again from Fulham, could do well for them. But I'm not buying into the hype too much. So I think this one's not going to go down too well. But I'm going to stick England top of the group. I'm going to actually stick around to come through a second, maybe on goal difference, maybe on a point. USA third and Wales fourth. I know a lot of people would go England, Wales, or USA second, around fourth, but my gut is just taken over on this one, and that's what I'm going to go for. All right, moving on to Group C, we have my favourites for the entire tournament, which is Argentina. Now, I know there's a lot of hype regarding Brazil, but I think Argentina might just pip them for this, and I really can't see the trophy ending anywhere other than South America. It'd be very romantic that Lionel Messi finally takes the tournament home. Also, they have a system working really well underneath their current manager, and they're not just getting the ball as quickly as possible to Lionel Messi. They seem to be building up around the team and finding Messi in the spots where he's going to be most crucial. I think Martinez and Di Maria also be quite crucial to this team. They're going to score a lot of goals. The only thing I worry about is their defense, but that's been covered massively. You know, they're very weak at the back, but they could outscore a lot of teams here. Saudi Arabia, there's been a lot of goals against them, and possibly even for them. They're a bit of fodder at the last World Cup, weren't they? Apart from their last game, I'm not really expecting anything from them in this group. This group's going to be a bit too tough for them. Mexico, they seem like such an aging squad at the moment, and their country themselves don't seem too confident in Mexico this tournament. And for once, I'm not even that bothered about watching Mexico. Normally, they're a bundle of joy to watch, but they're not really exciting me here. And Poland really have to make this tournament their own. They have to finally get over that third game curse and get to the round of 16, and they really have to get the maximum out of Lewandowski, which they've struggled to do so before for such a key striker. So for this group, I'm going to obviously stick Argentina at the top. I'm going to go for Poland in second. I just think Lewandowski might finally shoot them to the last 16. And go Mexico third and South Africa in fourth. Okay, moving on to Group D. France, first of all, well, Benzema is being ruled out is huge. I think I heard that he's ruled out for the entire tournament, which is absolutely crazy. They're going to have to rely on someone like Olivier Giroud, which isn't bad. He's done it for France before. He doesn't obviously score goals for France, but well, not in the last tournament anyway. But he's build up play and the way they can bounce off him with their other attacking options is going to be huge. They've got obviously injuries in midfield as well. They might struggle with. Well, let's be real. France's second or third team might even be able to qualify from the group with Australia and Tunisia in. So I think they're going to be favourites for this group easily for me. Australia, their fans are always a lot of fun, but unfortunately the football isn't from what I've seen from them. I don't have too much to say. I don't know too much about them other than their results and their team. I'm not expecting a lot from them here. Denmark, on the other hand, are potential dark horses for a lot of people in this tournament, and I would have to agree. They've gone on massive unbeaten streaks. They beat France in the Nations League, and yeah, it's just good vibes around the whole team after the last Euros. I'm expecting big things from Denmark here. Tunisia, I think you're gonna get your typical Tunisia style of play, especially at tournaments where they're gonna sit in deep, be hard to break down, a low block. I think they'll give France and Denmark a good run in this group, but I don't think they've got a chance of really qualifying against either of these European teams. So we're gonna stick France in first. Sorry, no, I lied. I'm gonna stick France in second. Actually, I'm just gonna go with my gut. I think France will get further than Denmark in the whole tournament. But I'm actually going to stick Denmark in first, France in second, Tunisia in third, and Australia in fourth. All right, let's move on to Group E. Spain, they're one of the teams who've got a truly top tier coach at the helm. I think we'll see what we always see from Spain, which is playing better against the bigger teams, maybe struggling to break down the more defensive, deep lying teams. The only real question here is from Spain. Will Morata get them the goals they need? I'm not so sure. Costa Rica, does Brian Reed still play for them? That's all I can think of. But they'll still field players like Joel Campbell. They've got a very much a similar squad from the last few times, and yeah, I think they're aging. They're not really a crop that's coming through and going to be breaking through for the next 4 8 years. I think this is very much the last of a cycle for them, which is kind of impressive that they still qualified, really. But I'm not expecting much from them here. Germany. What can you say against Germany? International football World Cup giants. You just can't write them off, can you? Really? And I think they're coming into it in pretty good form. They'll probably miss players like Timo Werner. I believe he hasn't travelled. But you just can't write Germany off after the Euros. They've swapped coaches, and I think they're gonna do really well at a tournament like they always do. They've had a good year building up to this tournament, and I think they might pip Spain in this group. Just because I think Spain might beat Germany in the group, but I think Germany will easily dispatch Costa Rica and Japan, and I think Spain might struggle a bit more against those teams. Coming on to the last team then, as I just mentioned, Japan. They're a lot of fun to watch normally, especially at World Cups. They just go for it, and you've got to respect that and love that. It's always so fun to watch their games. I don't know too much about their players, unfortunately. But yeah, I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think we're going to go for Spain in second. We'll go for Germany in first. Sorry, I've stuck Costa Rica there. Germany in first, and Japan in third, and Costa Rica in fourth. All right, let's head on over to Group F. We got Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. This is going to be a very interesting group, I think, and I think one I'm going to be a little bit controversial in comparison to other people's predictions. I think Belgium, this is very much the last chance saloon for their golden generation. They really should have done something by now, got close to winning the tournament, but they've just struggled at the last final hurdles every time. If it's not now, I think it never will be. And I think their country is feeling the same. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the shoulders of players like De Bruyne here. Canada, these are one of the teams I'm most excited to watch this tournament. I'm very excited for Canada. They absolutely killed qualification, and they're just so fun to watch. Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David, Tyon Buchanan, and Hutchinson in the middle of the park, all great players, and will give Canada, I think, a really good fighting chance here. They'll find this group really tough. Obviously, Morocco, Croatia, Belgium, they're wily characters, and they're all very strong teams. But I think they shouldn't go into many of these games with much fear. Morocco, seriously strong, stable team. Everything you always get from Morocco. They probably should have done better in the AFCON and were expecting to do better. But I think they're going to be quietly expecting to do well in this group. Again, they've got a few good attacking players, but I think they're going to come in, be solid at the back, and try and build from there. Croatia, another team like Belgium at the end of a golden generation. They're going to be hoping their golden oldies like Modric, Rakitic, and Perisic can kind of pull them through with moments of magic here. This one is so ridiculously hard to pick the group. I think I'm just going to go for my gut again. I think Belgium just got enough talent, especially attacking wise, to top the group. I'm gonna stick Canada in second. Now that's probably gonna come back to bite me in the ass and probably finish bottom with no points, but I think they might qualify maybe on goal difference, if not by 1 point. I'm actually going to stick Morocco third for the reasons I stated above. I think they'll maybe draw a few games and maybe lose one or win one and lose a couple by 1 goal. It's going to be super tight, and I'm actually going to stick Croatia fourth. I just think they might get off to a slow start. Their squad's aging. I think this is the end of the cycle for Croatia. But yeah, wouldn't that be great to see Canada go through into the round of 16? Anyway, on to onto my favorite group of the tournament, which is Group G, and I think the group of death, in my opinion. Brazil, obviously the tournament favourites. They have like a million forwards who could get in any squad, really. I think Neymar's going to be expecting a huge tournament, and there's a reason why they're favourites. Their squad's just unbelievable. They're going to be seriously entertaining and almost unstoppable once they get going, I think. So for that reason, I reckon they'll finish top of this group. Serbia, I'm going to be adopting them as my second team this tournament. Um, Mainly because they got Mitrovic up front, but they are also very exciting to watch. Mitrovic, if he's fully fit, he did have an injury at the end of the season, at the end of the break, sorry. So if they can get him fully firing, he's their all-time top goal scorer and he's in the form of his life. He's scoring like 1 goal every game for like last 50, 60 games. Players like Milinkovic, Savic seem to be in impeccable form, maybe the best of his career as well, and they did beat Portugal in a crunch game to seal qualification. Switzerland, they're just going to be the same as the Switzerland we always known. They're always there. They always perform well. They're always solid. They obviously beat France in the Euros. It's going to be super close between them and Serbia. And remember, they hate each other, so it's going to be really interesting. And I think they're in each other's group for the last World Cup too. It could get spicy between them. It really could. Cameroon, another one of the big African countries. If they weren't in this group, I think I'd be backing them for qualification. But this group's just a bit too tough for them, I think. So we're gonna go Brazil top. I'm gonna go with my heart rather than my gut here, and go Serbia second, Switzerland third, and Cameroon fourth. All right, let's move on to Group H. We've got Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and Korea. Um, this one is going to be also another tight group. I think lots of teams that not many people know what to expect from, including myself. They could all be great, but they could also all be awful. I think Portugal, the Ronaldo stuff, is just a bit boring. I'm just so over it. A team that they're pretty held back considering how good their squad is. Their manager holds them back so much. I'm not that excited about them, but people should really be wary of their attacking talent, especially. Ghana. I'm very excited for these because they got a man Dennis Adoy playing. They're going to be a lot of fun. Ghana, they always are. I think they'll be hoping to get one back on Uruguay as well. They have a lot of players playing from other countries who have come in who haven't featured for the other countries now playing for Ghana. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Uruguay, I think it's the least confident I've been regarding them for a while. Again, a lot of their star players are aging towards the end, but they always seem to get the job done in the groups, whether it be by teeth or grit. South Korea, if Sun isn't fit, I think they'll be worrying massively. I think they'll not qualify, but they'll give it a good go. And similar to other teams, they're just always a team you want to see in the World Cup because they provide a lot of entertainment. As much as I'm down on Portugal, I think I'm going to stick them top. I'm gonna have to go Uruguay second as well. I think it's just a reputation. Sorry, of these two teams that are pushing me towards making them qualify, especially Portugal's team. They've got too many good players. I think I'm going to pip Ghana as the third place, just above of South Korea, but they could easily swap around. Right, let's get on over to the knockouts then, shall we? So, the round of 16 would leave us looking like this. We got Netherlands against Iran. I think here the Netherlands will go through. I'm just gonna roll through these super quick. I'm not gonna go delving into them too deep. We'll just find out who I think, from my gut feeling, I think will qualify through the tournament and go on as eventual winners. Then we'll speak about maybe golden goal, golden boots, sorry, and dark horses, etc. So I think Iran will lose to Netherlands. I think Argentina This is going to be a hell of a game. Argentina against France. I think Argentina will win. I'm going with my gut though. But remember the game from the 2018 tournament, Argentina France. That was unbelievable. I'm going to go Argentina this time. I think they're in a better place. And obviously, like I said, France got a few injuries, etc. Germany against Canada. If Canada do qualify, yeah, I think that's going to be one step too much. We'll go for Germany here. Brazil, Uruguay, that'll be some game as well. I think we have to pick Brazil there, though. They're just far superior. England, Senegal's a very interesting one. I think England will pip them. Even though as an English person myself, I would be very worried. So we'll go England, Denmark, Poland. If Poland do end up making it to the round of 16, I think they'll still see it as a success. But I think it will be Denmark pushing through here. I think they're a much better team than Poland. Belgium, Spain. Now this would be some game. I think Spain would run out. I think Belgium are just too weak. I just don't think their backbone's strong enough. I think Spain would take this one, and Portugal, Serbia will be very interesting considering what happened in the qualifiers with Mitrovic scoring a last minute goal. I'm just gonna go with my gut here. I think Serbia would do it again. They're just on such a bigger wave than Portugal are. Portugal seem to have cracks in the dressing room, so we'll go Serbia. So that would leave us in the quarterfinals here, where you have Netherlands against Argentina. This is probably going to end up like a 8-7 or something stupid. But I'll back Argentina. They're obviously my favourites to win the whole tournament. Germany, Brazil would be unbelievable. Vibes from the Brazil World Cup. And I think Brazil will get their own back. It may be by one goal, but I think Brazil would pip on there. England, Denmark. Okay, I was obviously there when we beat Denmark in the semi-finals of the Euros. I just I can't see it. I'm not confident at all this World Cup. I think Denmark might do it. I think they might go through penalties, maybe why by one goal. But I'm I'm sorry. I'm gonna go Denmark, and it hurts me to say it as much as I'd love to put England through. And that leaves us to Spain, Serbia. Another one, I'd like to go with my heart and hope the Serbians can do it, but I think Spain are just a bit too strong, and I think Spain will go through. So that leaves us with two semi-finals here, which is Argentina, Brazil, which is unbelievable game, and Denmark, Spain. I'm just gonna have to go with what I said, and think that Argentina are gonna go all the way. So I'm gonna have to go Argentina against winning against Brazil there, and then we got Denmark against Spain. That's it'll be another close one. Um, but I think Spain would pip them. I think Spain are such a well-drilled team, well-oiled machine, and it would end up in an Argentina-Spain final, which for me, I think Messi's gonna bring them home. I think Argentina are gonna win the tournament. Obviously you can pick your scores here. I'm not going to do that, just because to keep this video a little bit shorter. But I think Argentina are going to be the winners of the World Cup. Regarding golden boots and dark horses, I think it's quite clear. I think the winners will be Argentina. I think the dark horses for me are Serbia, although I've actually got Denmark going further than them. I think Serbia I think Serbia will surprise people more than Denmark will. Golden boot, I've got to just give it to Messi. I'd love to say Kane or someone from the Brazil squad who isn't Neymar, or maybe even someone like Olivier Giroud, because you get the golden boot from your group games, and with France having an easy group, someone like Mbappe could get it. But I think with Argentina getting to the final, wouldn't it just be amazing if Messi got his hand on the golden boot? It would be fitting. But anyway, thank you all for watching this. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with anything, if you think anything I've said is a bit too wild, if you think I'm missing out on a team who I should be expecting more from. And yeah, make sure you come along to the watch alongs on Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/Lukalele, same username as here on YouTube, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.